she knew what she was going to do. She was going to be a big star.
She shot off like a rocket ship because she was so young.
Just this little tiny girl. I had no idea what was going on around me.
We were on a fast train and trying to keep up.
What's it like to be 14 years old and already win a Grammy?
After her Grammy, the world changed for her.
If you're seen on Sunset Strip drinking, it's not necessarily the country image that you want to portray.
LeAnn wanted this career more than her next breath.
I thought we were gonna go out.
LeAnn Rimes, now on Biography.
Song with that range and the control of her voice.
It was like, wow, who is this? This little girl singing like this. It was kind of otherworldly to hear her voice coming out of someone that young.
LeAnn just was on fire. I mean, it was like she knew what she was going to do, and she had the talent to back it up.
Now, the new LeAnn Rimes is all grown up and back on top. With an album that's heating up the country music charts and a marriage that survived the pressures of celebrity.
I think that's probably my biggest accomplishment, is being able to have such a wonderful marriage and be still very, very happy and satisfied, and as a woman and as a wife, and it's fun.
That's good. Where is it?
In the fish.
Confident and finally happy, LeAnn has been writing her own songs. And this time, her fans are ready to hear what this woman has to say.
I just think it's dragging right now because it's just, we're trying to get a feel for everything. I mean, I think it does really need to pick up.
I've been blessed with a voice. I think everybody knows that I have a voice, but it's what else is there behind that now, and I think my writing is what's behind that, and what I have to say is gonna be very, very powerful.
A lot of people still think of her as that little girl from 10 years ago with the unbelievable voice. She was always in the spotlight, always on the road, but she was still just a child with a grown-up career.
LeAnn, how was your show? It was wonderful. We had a lot of fun with the fans today. It's good to be back.
LeAnn Rimes is the young woman with the great big voice.
Do the musicians and people like Winona, do they treat you as an adult?
You're Rent-A-Bus,
This is not Rent-A-Bus.
This is very cool.
It finally became so overwhelming that she had to stop and take stock of her life.
I was constantly working, on the road, never at home. That's a tough thing to deal with at that age. But it became my life, and I got burnt out really quick. I took a break for a second and wanted to just kind of find out who I was and be a kid for a second.
She was a teenager. She didn't just want to hit the road and stay there for the rest of her life, so she moved to LA.
I wanted to explore acting, and I wanted to explore the big city.
In LA, LeAnn turned 16 and embraced the big city life. She was rumored to be buying alcohol, going on designer spending sprees, and even dating a Hollywood actor, Andrew Keegan. Back in Nashville, tongues were wagging.
Anytime a country star lands in the gossip columns, and not the country gossip columns, it's not a good thing, regardless of what they're doing, because it's obviously something that she shouldn't be doing. That was the main thing, I think, with LeAnn. God bless her.
It's tough to be the all-American girl next door. I was exploring womanhood, and I wanted to wear sexier clothes, and I wanted to sing different songs. You know, you're under scrutiny constantly for everything that you're doing, so it was tough.
LeAnn was also exploring a new world musically, but some critics and fans wondered if their country sweetheart had gone pop.
For a while there, people weren't sure who LeAnn Rimes was. Was she a country singer? Was she dabbling in everything else? Was she sincere about what she was trying to do?
She went from an artist that was selling 5-6 million copies on an album, maybe had sold 20 million albums, to an artist that was virtually starting over.
If her new music shook things up, what LeAnn did next really shocked everyone. In 2000, the 18-year-old singer sued her father Wilbur, who had produced her early albums and managed her career. She accused him of pocketing millions of dollars of her money. Wilbur Rimes countersued, charging that his daughter was spoiled and wasteful.
LeAnn's father's lawsuit said that LeAnn was squandering money. It said that she wrecked her Bentley that was worth $350,000. At the same time, her boyfriend, Andrew Keegan, wrecked her Ferrari.
Her career at that point was really overshadowed by lawsuits, by family squabbles, and by tabloid headlines.
But off camera, the experience was intensely painful.
I think the parent should be there to watch over their child as a parent, not as someone who makes money off of their kid. The hardest part of the whole thing was that I didn't have my dad as my dad for a long time. You know, that's all I wanted.
The spring of 2001 was a dark time for LeAnn, but she agreed to host the Academy of Country Music Awards, a demanding job that put her in the spotlight.
I was so nervous because I was hosting and I was dancing and I was singing and I was taking on this, you know, huge responsibility.
At rehearsals, one of the dancers couldn't help but notice how stressful it was for LeAnn.
She had a lot of things hanging around on her, and I could see she was really stressed out, and people were just really weighing down on her. I was just trying to say, hey, just relax, it's okay.
He whispered in my ear right before I went on stage. He said, you know, this is your night, don't let anyone take it away from you. And I was like, oh, he's so sweet.
The evening went off without a hitch, but LeAnn couldn't forget the dancer who had been so sweet, so she called him the next day. 2 weeks later, they had their first date and quickly fell for each other over takeout and TV.
Give that one a kiss.
His name's not Dean, I can't. I just had a lot of fun with him. He made me laugh really hard, and I think that's the main thing that I loved about him was how much fun he was.
Everything that I could have ever imagined in a woman or in anybody as a friend, she had all those qualities. And for that, I was like, this is it for me.
LeAnn, one of the first things out of her mouth was, I've met my best friend for life. And he made her laugh like no one had ever made her laugh. And that was definitely something she needed in her life at that time. They just connected in such a way. And of course she said, yes, he's hot.
After a whirlwind courtship of just 3 weeks, Dean popped the question.
It was so impromptu, and I would have never had it any other way. We had joked about, I said, I'm gonna marry this girl.
I said, okay, and I said, let's do it. Let's pick a date.
She's looking at me like, are you serious? And I'm kind of like, are you serious? And she decided she was going to the other room, and I followed her and just grabbed her hand and got down on one knee, and I said, Margaret LeAnn Rimes, will you be with me forever?
LeAnn was overjoyed, but the lightning-fast engagement left her family and friends stunned.
I was like shocked. And I said, well, now y'all haven't known each other that long. And she said, but Mom, I'm in love with him. And I said, are you sure? Y'all, you're so young.
On February 23, 2002, after 9 months of dating, 19-year-old LeAnn Rimes and 21-year-old Dean Chermain tied the knot in her hometown of Dallas. There was a surprise guest, Wilbur Rimes. Just days earlier, father and daughter had settled their bitter lawsuit in time for him to attend her wedding.
Her mother and father both stood beside her, and it was as it should be. And that was really, I think, what brought them back together. Is she's now saying, okay, I'm a woman. I've made this choice. I'm now going to be a married woman. I'm still your daughter. I'm still your child. And I now want to make sure that all the relationships in my life are important and maintained. So let's start over.
We had the father-daughter dance, which had everybody in tears, and my dad and I both were just bawling. And it was it was one of those moments where you knew everything was headed in the right direction of getting back to normal.
They have the most tremendous love for each other, and it was very important for him to be there.
It was Wilbur Rimes who had nurtured his daughter's talent when she was just a young child.
LeAnn's father has a wonderful voice, and he has a terrific ear for music.
LeAnn's father, Wilbur, is a talented singer, although he never pursued that as a career. But he had a great love of music, and it's been said that he had perfect pitch by people who had heard him sing. So I think that part of that is simply in her genes. But the rest is magic.
In many ways, LeAnn was a miracle child. Belinda and Wilbur Rhymes were high school sweethearts who'd gotten married young and tried unsuccessfully for years to have a baby.
And the specialist said that I would never have children. And I had been married 12 years, and one day I just sat down on the bed and I said, Lord, if you'll give me a child, I'll give that child back to you.
Margaret LeAnn Rhymes was born in Jackson, Mississippi on August 28, 1982. It quickly became clear that she was unusually gifted. At 18 months, she stunned everyone during a family gathering when she began belting out a hymn.
She was in her high chair, and she started singing Jesus Loves Me, and we were just amazed that she could actually enunciate as well as she could at that age.
I was very surprised that a child her age could remember the words to a song like she could, and could carry the tune to the song so well.
From that day on, the songs never stopped.
I don't even think she was 2. She was walking, not really talking, but singing. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. She could just turn it on and sing full songs before she could complete full sentences.
She would sing in her home, she would sing in church, she would sing at school, and she would wake up from a nap in the back seat of the car and just start singing.
And I would stand